Morning. Hey guys, how are you today? Welcome, welcome. I'm just gonna wait for, make sure this is starting properly. Let me know when you're here, and I will certainly. Hey guys, good morning. Welcome, welcome. How are you today? I am just gonna wait a few more seconds for a few others to join us this morning. I know I am going live last minute, and that's okay. That is really okay. The right people will show up. They will catch this at the right time. They will be joining us. But today's topic is so important. So get comfortable, grab your coffee, grab your tea. If you have this book, grab it. If you don't have this book, you're going to want to order one after today's session for sure. For sure. I am just DMing a friend of mine who I know doesn't want to miss this. So we will just wait a second and see. Actually, maybe I'll send a quick text here. That might be easier. So, how are you today? Let me know you're here. Give me a wave when I know you are here so I can say hello. And I'm curious when you do show up, let me know when you're here and let me know where you're from. Don't forget, actually, I want to leave that there. I just put it in the comments so you can see that. Oh, I'm so excited for today. Um, some of you might catch this a little bit after, and that's a-okay too. Um, let's get the jiggles out. I'm not jiggly. I'm not jiggly anymore. Okay, so I was inspired this morning, and I'm gonna get comfortable. You guys know, or if you don't know, I really don't like the reverse camera on here. I find it hard to, I don't know, I just find it hard. I find it hard to adapt to the way it looks, and that trips me up over and over again. So the resources we're going to tap into today is, again, this quarterly planner, and if you don't have it, you're going to want it by the end. And I'm going to talk briefly about this book, The Four Agreements, and we're going to tap into the nervous system and why keeping your promises to yourself is so important for your nervous system. And it really doesn't matter what those promises are. So, are you ready to get started? I've got all of the links here. Again, let me know who's here, like when you're here catching this. Let me know where you're from. I might do a giveaway. And let me know if this time works for you. If this time works for you, I'll be doing more of my lives at this time. So you can see them, so you can participate in them. I'm so excited for today's topic. Have a sip of coffee. Okay. So I actually listed four things when in the little balloon highlights. One of them is keeping your promises to yourself and your nervous system, blending your personal and professional life, and Q4 goal setting, the basics. Now, I've got a whole workshop on this called the Goldilocks approach. We can tap into the Goldilocks approach, but I'm not going to do that with you today. I might do a part two of this today, depending on how today goes and what it looks like and what it feels like. And yes, I will be fidgeting with my hair because, like I said, it's reversed. It looks funny. Um, and we need to be comfortable when we're presenting. We always need to be comfortable in life, right? As we're moving forward. So when I mention those three topics, keeping your promises to yourself and your nervous system, topic number one, blending your personal and your professional life, that's point two. And the basics of Q4 goal setting. And again, we're going to tap into this. Ramona, thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate your time here. Any questions, put them in the comments. I will do my best. Um, I will do my best to get them. I'll actually set up my phone so I can see the comments as they come in, which again is kind of cool seeing yourself having to turn down the volume, but then you can see the comments. So Ramona, you're from St. Thomas, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you did share where you're from, because for those that are local to St. Thomas, I have copies of these. You don't need to go to Amazon. You can get them directly from me. I can sign them. You can update yours, and I can also work with you to help get this set up for you. So, of those 3 points that we talked about, what stands out to you the most? Blending your personal professional, keeping your promises to yourself, and connecting that to your nervous system, or just the general basics of Q4 goal setting? I would love to hear. Put in the comments which of the three or all three stands out to you the most. Yeah, I'm so curious. I should pin this. I'm going to pin this because I'm already playing with my hair way too much. And I know it's not a big deal, but we talked about this right when I started. You really want to be comfortable when you're presenting. You really, you really do. There, that'll help me for sure. Okay, so when it comes to your nervous system, I'm just going to read some of my notes here. The reason why we write things down in our planner, the reason why we write things down at all is because we want to do them, right? We want to take action on those things. These are things that we actually want to check off. We've decided that these certain actions, and we're going to break down what those actions are, but we've decided that these things are important to us. And if they're important to us, we write them down. And if we write them down, we can check them off after we've done them. But how is this connected to your nervous system? And let's talk about the basics of your nervous system first. You see your oh, thanks, Ramona. The nervous system is essentially your command center for the body. It controls many of your body's functions, from the conscious, like moving, learning, to the unconscious, breathing patterns, heartbeats, the way you sleep, how you heal, memory, feelings. And you can think of your nervous system like a highway running through your body from head to toe, connecting nerves, cells, glands, and muscles, and sending messages from the nerves to these other parts of your body. The nervous system is responsible for how you experience and interpret your environment. So, how does the nervous system affect you? And this will answer a lot of questions for a lot of people as we unpack this. Your nervous system, when it's regulated, you feel connected. You feel present. You feel safe. On the flip side to that, your nervous system can become dysregulated. And when it's dysregulated, you may feel overwhelmed, defensive, restless, anxious, panicked, angry, shut down, numb, sleepy, spacey, withdrawn, or depressed. How many of you listening to this, whether you're catching the live or the replay, just go ahead and put this, and you can say replay when you're here catching the replay. Actually, there's somebody else I'm going to tag as well that I know will want to be here. But when your nervous system is dysregulated, how many of you have felt any of these feelings? I don't know if I can tag her. I'm going to just tag her in here, see if she can come. One second, friends. There we go. So I know for me, I have felt all of those things. I felt overwhelmed. I felt defensive. I have felt restless. I have felt anxious. I have felt panicked. I have felt angry. I have felt shut down, numb, sleepy, spacey, withdrawn, and depressed. And I'm not afraid to sit here and share all of this with you. Actually, I find it very important to share this with you. Feeling any of these emotions can put you in the flight or fight or even freeze states. And these are all states of your nervous system. These are describing different states of your nervous system that go in response to the external stimuli that is happening in your life. A balanced and flexible nervous system moves through these various states all throughout the day in response to external triggers and internal stimuli. See, information as it comes to us, it has to go internal first and then it gets processed externally. And when somebody else is hearing our information, the same thing happens. It goes through them internally and then it quickly gets processed externally, which we then pick up internally. It's like a full circle. When this happens, when a balanced and flexible nervous system moves through all of these various states throughout the day to the stimuli, it is able to return to a regulated and connected state. That's important. Because if it doesn't connect to a regular state, it is then going to be sitting in a dysfunctional state. So, for example, you pop outside your house for a split second and sorry, you hear a pop outside your house. I'm trying to read my notes. Outside your house for a quick second, and it sounds like a gunshot. You jump, your pulse races, you feel fear. You may want to run away or hide. Then you realize it was a car, and you take a deep breath. Your pulse begins to slow down, and you return to your activity. Your nervous system responded in a way to keep you safe. Had it been a gunshot, that shot of adrenaline would have allowed your body to move into the energy of fight or flight, which is trying to protect you. But since it wasn't, it's important that you were able to return to a regulated state and go about your day. But sometimes we get stuck. We've all been there. We all get stuck. And we're not able to feel that connection of being connected, of being present, of feeling joyful. In that state, we cannot learn. So, we're talking about regulating our nervous system next. And I love you'll find whenever you do any of the coaching with me, or if you go back and listen to some of my previous lives, I do a lot of connecting the nervous system with life coaching because it's so important. One of the ways we can regulate the nervous system is breathing. One of the other ways is to be in your favorite spot and to sit there and be and to make yourself feel safe. Another thing, and this is the important topic that we're talking about today, is keeping your promises to yourself. When you keep your promises to yourself, your nervous system tells your body that it is safe. Don McGill Ruiz mentioned it in this book, The Four Agreements. And if you haven't read it yet, this is a must read. But the very first agreement here is be impeccable with your word. Do as you say and say as you do. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. And use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. So important. So important. So, how is any of this connected to the quarterly planner? You see, this book right here, this quarterly planner, is going to help you feel safe. And that's what happens when you keep your promises to yourself. And I'm going to show you how you can keep your promises to yourself with this book. So this book is available on Amazon. I am working on updating my link tree where you can just hit the shop button, but it's not completely up to date yet. Only one of my books is on there. I actually have put together a mini course for you on this as well, but I do one-on-one coaching and I have no problem doing group with this. So what I'd like to bring to your attention, and I've done some chats with this before. This book is not dated. There are no dates in this planner. There is a little getting started section, okay, which you can read. This particular one that I am showing you was dated April 22. And you can see this right here. This is all of my monthly milestones, all of the wins, everything I did this month that I was proud of for the month of April 2020. I can't date this. Oh, somehow music came on. Okay, let's try this. Oh boy. Hmm. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I had a song playing when I put my headphone back in. So, all right, so let's get back to this. We have monthly milestones for this month. I've put together a whole bunch of activities in this month that made me feel good. So, before we get started, I want you to think about your year end goals. What are they? Think of, we're actually going to skip well, we're not going to skip ahead, but I want you to think of 3 or 4 goals. That's it, 3 or 4 goals. What do you want to accomplish between now and the end of the year? I have 2 goals right in front of me on this little piece of paper. They are, one's ambitious, one's realistic, and they excite me. I want your goals to excite you. Are you looking for a new job? Are you looking to release weight? Are you looking to bring in income? Are you looking to release stress and heal? You can put it down in the comments if you're looking for accountability. But we're going to go over some ideas of how to use this book and what to do with this information and how to keep your promises to yourself. Because we know that your body needs this. Too many of us right now are feeling those feelings that we talked about. And I'm sure you can agree with me that a lot of people are feeling the dysregulation feelings of being defensive, restless, anxious, panicked, angry, shut down, right? Definitely get a job. Thanks, Ramona. Okay, we're going to put that in here. Numb, sleepy, spacey, withdrawn, depressed. Um, Ramona actually messaged to lose weight as well. So she's got 2 goals right now that she shared with us. Do you want to hear mine? I'll throw mine out there. And these are just weird goals that actually excite me. So I'm going to throw them out there. I would love a new wardrobe. It's been quite a while since I've been purchasing any clothes, and I would love to update my wardrobe 100%. So, yes, that's for me is one of my goals. That's the realistic one. And the other one is to take Tony and I on a photography vacation where he gets to go and take pictures on the photography side. And it's actually a group vacation. And I am so excited at the thought of doing something like that, just based on our story of where we've been at the last couple of years. I wanted something big and obtainable, really big. And that second one might not happen by the end of this year. That one might happen in a year from now or in 2 years from now. But it doesn't mean I can't. What it does mean is I can start to take action on it today, even micro pieces of action. So as we flip through this book, we're going to go right to the next page. So we were just on this one. We're flipping the page and we're going to see this. It says monthly focus, and there are a bunch of different areas where you can come up with some goals. And then your top 3 goals are here. And I'm going to read some of mine to give you an idea because we're going to use these goals that I have written here and we're going to apply them to the rest of the month, the rest of the quarter. So now when I did this was in April. Remember that monthly milestones that I put together here? Okay. So I'm going to try to read this reverse and upside down and, all of the things. So this is my monthly focus. So we're taking those goals and we're breaking them down. I wanted to see if I started at a different page, actually. Hang on. Yeah, so the quarterly planner is broken down into monthly goals. So you want to think about what those big goals are. And this is what I have right here. So for the quarter, I put in the front what my goals are for the whole quarter. And let me go over what these goals were for then. And here's what I would say: I am so happy, thankful, and grateful now that I am living my CEO life by design. We're all the CEOs of our life. We don't treat ourselves as such, but we are all the CEOs of our life. Chief Energy Officer, however you want to label yourself. So, a quarterly planner is the next 3 months. So, what we're doing right now is we're setting the stage, we're thinking the thoughts, we're figuring out what promises we are able to keep to ourselves for the next quarter, which starts October, November, December, if you're following the calendar year. If not, it can start right here, right now, today. No exceptions, no excuses. So this one, when I created it, was for April 2022, and the quarter ended at the end of July, or the beginning of July. April, May, June, the beginning of July. I'm going to say it again. So I knew what my goals were by the end of that quarter, and this is what I want you to think about. By the end of the year, Ramona had given a couple of different ideas in here. I've given you a couple of different ideas in here. So I'm going to share with you what I wrote here. I am so happy, thankful, and grateful now that I am living my CEO life by design. As of July 1st, 2022, I am now 15 pounds lighter, and I wrote down the, the number. I am 5% closer to financial freedom, and I have space in my calendar. And I also said that I have $10,000 in sales through my business. Okay, those were my 4 goals by the end of that quarter. So let's go back to this. Flipping over a couple pages, because I did put this at the very, very beginning to remind me what my Q2 plan was for this year. Just flipping the pages, and we're on this page right here. So on this page, I want you to write down those goals here in this section and go through these areas. Backwards to it. There we go. Go through these areas so you know what your quarter goal was. Since my quarterly goal was to release 15 pounds within the quarter, my monthly focus is this one right here, to release 5 pounds by the end of April 30th. So you want to break it down to make it make sense to that particular month. So I'm going to read these. My monthly goal to reach my bigger goals over the quarter in the category of budgets was to create a budget and to update my budget. In the category of health, release 5 pounds. Fitness. Fitness is important because of the health. So that means I wanted to move my body 20 times or for 20 days. Travel. I wanted to do a road trip with my daughter. Career. I wanted to earn an extra $5,000 in my business that month. And then there are some spaces that are blank here. This one, this one, and this one, this one, and this one. I'm going to share what these are. And then in this section, I mentioned those top 3 goals and what they look like, but I will go over them with you. So my 3 extra boxes were know my numbers, finances, and fitness. And what I meant by that is, my health, my body, and then my financials, of course, any money coming in, going out, my debits, my credits. Respect boundaries around my time, energy, and money was one of them. That was one of my goals right here. And save versus spend. Okay. So we've got our big quarterly goal. We know what we want to do for the year, for the quarter. In this case, we know what we want to do for the end of the year. We've broken them down to actionable, no, we've broken them down to what we want to accomplish this month. We're going to take that a step further as we progress through here. I'm just going to show you some of the other pages or another page. Actually, let's just flip the page first. We're going to skip the page and we're going to jump into monthly goals. Okay. So if you just skip the page you're skipping actually is a money jar, and I will circle back to the money jar. I'm just going to make a note. Okay. So on this page right here, those goals that you had mentioned that you wanted to do, release 5 pounds, get 5%, um, get 5%, or know my numbers, get 5% closer to financial freedom. I'm going to read to you what I put in this section right here under goals. The first one, my goals for the quarter is what I put in this section, and then I broke it down. So reach $10,000 in sales by July 1st. That means I wanted to do $5,000 by April 30th. And how am I going to do that? What are my actionable items? These action steps right here are listed. Everybody's going to have different items that they're going to do. So in this case, if I wanted to reach $10,000 in sales, I have a daily power hour. I can book 10 connect calls, and I can learn to ask for the sale more often. Those are the activities that are going to bring me closer to making the sales. If I want to release 15 pounds by July 1st, 2022, I want to release 5 pounds by the end of April. So what does that look like? Let's go see what I think the actionable steps are. Track food, move more, eat less. Okay? And if I want to lower my debt by 5%, I want to know my numbers, and that's what I said, get numbers. Create a budget. Focus on savings. Those were my areas. And then, do you remember me saying add space to my CEO calendar? Well, here's how I'm gonna do that. I am going to block off Thursday mornings. I am going to add hobbies into my calendar. And I am going to add more groups into my calendar for the way I'm serving clients. So now we're taking these 4 goals and we're going to focus on 3 of them. 3 of them. For those that are watching this, I literally just kind of showed my fingers like like 4. So anyways, just keeping it real here, guys. Um we are going to focus on 3 of those 4 goals when it comes to our book. And don't worry, I'm getting to the good part soon. I'm going to skim over some of this and then I'm going to do a part 2 where we can go over the rest of it because we're already half an hour in. So here's the very next page, and this one's all about project planning. It's about dissecting those 3 top goals. So I'm using weight loss here because it is one of the biggest goals in society, always and forever. Release 5 pounds. And notice my language. Here's my start date, my end date, the date whether or not it was completed, and what will I gain by releasing 5 pounds? What do I have to stand to lose? Draw a sketch. Maybe a bikini, maybe a dress, whatever it looks like. I just wrote some notes in here. Um, why do I want to do this? And I wrote in here, I desire to be healthy, fit, and trim. Now there's a little checkbox here where you can answer 3 or 4 different questions. And then at the very bottom, this part is key. These are your action steps. These are your action steps. I'm going to talk about my action steps because these action steps are going to move to a habit tracker. So what action can I take to release 5 pounds in a month? Well, 5 pounds in a month, let's break it down. That's like a pound and a bit a week. Okay? So what does that mean? It means I want to move 20 times during the month. We talked about that. I want to drink 100 ounces of water every single day. So that means 20 times a month. Sorry, 30 times a month, I want to drink 100 ounces of water. I want to walk the dogs 20 times because that means I'm getting outside. And I want to track my food. Those are 4 actionable items that I can do to help me release those 5 pounds this month. If I do these things, I'm confident I will lose these. I will release this weight. And if I do these things and check them off in my habit tracker, which I'm going to show you, it means I'm keeping my promises to myself. It means my nervous system can trust what it is I have to say. That's so important. That gets us out of flight and fight. That puts us in a state of regulation. If we can trust ourselves, if we can be impeccable with our word, we can then trust what other people have to say. So, we're going to do this practice for the other two goals. I am skipping ahead here, and I want to show you. Okay, so throughout, and I just wanted to show you this one, and I might actually show you a different one, but this is a habit tracker, and I made a copy of it and put it at the back of the book. But there are habit trackers throughout this book. There's three different ones for each month. Remember, you're taking your big goal for the year, you're breaking it down to the quarter, and then you're taking that goal for the quarter and you're putting it down for the month. And you're writing down all of the activities that were in those actionable steps for those three main goals, and you're putting that in your habit tracker. So you can see where you're focusing your attention. See, we can't change from the exact same state that brought us to where we are right here, right now. Let me say that again. You cannot grow, you cannot change from the exact state that you are in right here, right now. You need to take work, concrete work, in order to bring you to that next place. It's inspired action that is going to bring you to where you need to be. I was actually looking for another habit tracker that I wanted to show you, and I thought I had it highlighted. Here we go. I did. And I just wanted to show you because it's a little bit brighter to see, right? And then you can see patterns. You can see what works, what doesn't work for you, what you need to change, where you need to focus on. And after seeing this month after month after month, you're going to learn your trends. You're going to learn where to focus. So that is the basics of your goals. I'm leaving it there for a second. So today we talked a lot about goals. We talked about habit tracker. We talked about keeping your promises. I am going to tap into what today looks like. I'm going to skip everything else in that book for now, and I'm just going to talk about what today looks like. So if you fast forward a couple of pages, so we've done the goals, we broke them down, we did the project planning for the top three, we started to work on a habit tracker. Okay, and remember, nothing is dated in here. So we're going to skip forward a couple of pages, and we're going to move on to the first day of the week in terms of your pages. A blank page, see if I can show you this. A blank page looks like this. This is what it looks like. You can put the date anywhere and you can answer these questions. Here is what a completed page looks like, and I just put the date at the top. Then you flip the page, and I'm going to flip the page on a blank one as well. Remember, you've got your habit tracker to keep you working towards your goals, because we are either working towards something or to get away from something. And if we don't take action, we're going to always stay exactly where we are. So a blank page looks like this. And on this page, and with our goals, we want both personal and professional goals. We are one. You don't go to work and drop everything about your business as much as you try. It is blended. Same thing with your personal life. So here's what a blank page looks like. I'm going to bring it in a little closer so you can see. This is where you can take inspired action. Every single day, journal, affirmations, reflections, movement, gratitude, money in, money out, and personal development. These are the areas of your life that will move the needle. Then, on the side here, here is your to dos. Here is who you need to contact. Here's your follow ups, and here are your daily wins. We want daily wins. We want to celebrate and identify the smallest of wins. And this, honestly, is your schedule. What needs to be done today. Now, I'm going to show you a filled out one in a second, but on the back page to this one, so on the next page, if I were to open this book, you've got your scheduling page and you have a blank page for notes. Very, very useful. Now, there are so many different ways I break this down. I'm not going to go into detail today with you because, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've done a video where I can do this one on one. I help people on so many ways set up their planners, and then here I help you set up the right process for you between quadrants, what to write in this space, and even how to use your day properly because everybody's different. So here is one example. Okay, so you can see I filled in some of my notes. I checked some of my boxes. I wrote what I did. And on the next page, I just made some notes. Sometimes that's the way I do it. I just make my notes for the day. And then I go on to the next page the next day and I start all over again with my affirmations. Guys, you want your personal and your professional information in one spot. You don't want to be searching for this, that, and the other. Today, for instance, or what I haven't showed you yet, and I will tap into this tomorrow, is the fact that there is a meal planner and some of the other tools that are in here, which I will go over with you. Today's already been a little bit over half an hour. And I wanted to share these resources with you because once you start using a book like this, a planner like this, you're going to want one every quarter and keep them and circle back to them. So here's an example of what yesterday's look like. Okay. I use little check boxes. I've evolved. All of this wasn't filled up at the end of the night, but the only thing, actually, I think I did all of them. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't do movement yesterday. So you want to use this as a tool to track what you've done and to see where you're going and what else is left. So, for instance, I did a podcast yesterday, but I've not uploaded it yet. Right? So, podcast is back on my list for today. Why is it important for me to do my podcast? Because I love doing my podcast. So, you have to remember when you're going through this, things should only be on your list if they have to get done or if they're part of this. If you have identified action steps, or if it's just something that's in your life day to day to help bring you towards your goals. So let me know what questions you have. Today we talked a little bit more about goals and breaking them down. I do offer one-on-one coaching in this area. I will see if I can drop my calendar in here. I do charge. I do charge for one-on-one um, goal setting up. It's well worth it because once you do it once, you can circle back and do it all over again. So book a time in my calendar, a 45-minute slot. We will identify those goals. We will come up with 3 key categories and we will get this all set up so you can rock Q4. These are the basics that we're talking about. So you can rock Q4 and start 2025 off with a bang. Oh, money jar. Ramona, you want me to go over the money jar? Okay, before I head off, I will go over the money jar. So, I created this book as an entrepreneur. So, I know there are many entrepreneurs that are in the Celebrate Everything group. I know that there are many entrepreneurs who don't know how to work their way towards their goals and who aren't sure about tracking their money. So, or maybe they're in network marketing, 2 or 3 different companies. I'm going to show you, I'm just looking for an empty jar here, what it looks like. I was going to go over some of the other pages on a different day, Ramona, but I'm glad you brought them up. So let me know what other questions you want addressed. In my sample book that I used back that month, here are the 2 pictures. They're both money jars. One has notes, one doesn't have notes. One has a line through it. I'm going to explain that. And there's both a section at the bottom. So I took the money jar with no lines in the blank page and I drew a line through the middle of my jar. Now, it's interesting because I love using my money jar this way. This works for me. I wrote my goals on here and I'm going to explain. Remember how I wanted to make $10,000 in sales by the end of July? So I had it broken down $5,000 in sales by the end of April, $7,500 worth of sales by the end of May. Those were my two goals. And then I wanted to sustain or build the extra $2,500 for the month of June. That was what I was planning on doing. So I took my jar with each line and I put denominations on. Then I wrote on one side received and on the other side invoiced. And I stopped paying attention to this jar and coloring it, but I can show you a different one. Essentially, you color your jar as you invoice, and then you color your jar as you receive. Now, you can use this for money in, money out. You can use this for identifying how much you're spending, if you're over budget, under budget. Now, what I did down here, and you can do the same thing, you can measure this with what's going through automatically through your bills and maybe you want to bring that down. So down here, my goal was to have 10 MPP clients, monthly payment plan clients, by August is what I wanted. And then I was writing down the names and the opportunities of those that were there. This is money coming into my account every single month. I wanted to have 10. It looks like I had a few and then I stopped paying attention for whatever reason. Actually, I'm pretty sure the reason was Brooke and I did that road trip to we did the road trip. We remember how I said road trip? We actually did a road trip to Edmonton, Alberta, but we went stateside. I was gone for almost a week. It was amazing. Got caught in a snowstorm at the end of April. Like I didn't have this book with me to update as I went through it. But I did write down my goals. I did write down the denominations, and you can do whatever you want with this jar. I've always split it in half, and I've always done this for monthly payment plans for those for my clients. But any kind of money coming in. Ramona, is there anything else I can go over on this before signing off for today? Any other questions that you have? Mm, I'm cold. I did my post earlier this morning, or maybe I was just journaling, and I realized that my coffee doesn't taste like it used to. I used to have this most amazing coffee every single morning that I would make. And I would put Cool Whip on top and then cinnamon on top. And my coffee these days are like, yeah, not so much. and then I decided after Aquafit to go get myself a treat at Starbucks. But it's cold, so I'm going to heat it up again. Of course, you can use the money jar as a budget. Of course, you can. You can break it down however you want. And we can talk about that. So I want to come back live and go over the other pages that are in this book. I also want to share some examples of how I set things up in this book. I have about 6 different books that I've gone through. The advantage, guys, is not only can you tag these, but when you keep them, you can circle back to them. You can see your own growth. You can see your own progress. And when you see those things, your nervous system relaxes because you are keeping your promises to yourself every time you color in a slot, every time you've asked for the sale, every time you have said no to that high sugary drink. Although I asked for a skinny and I used non sweetened the vanilla and I used almond milk, I still know there's a lot in here. I know this. Every time you make a smart choice that's bringing you closer and closer to your goals, you should be tracking that because we forget the magic formula that works when we get into a rut. Plus, plus, this reminds you to check in with yourself and to celebrate your wins. And every single day, you're writing affirmations down. You're thinking differently. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's little session on this book. I do have some here I will do a part two in going over the rest of the paperwork. I will make some notes as to where I picked off or pick where to pick up from, and I would love to follow up with any of you if you have any questions. Oh, you love the habit tracker? Yes, I love the habit tracker as well, and I do have an electronic copy. And I'm not sure if there's one in this group here. There might be, but definitely in my Essentially You group, the paid group, I do have some habit trackers that you can download. So this is what a habit tracker looks like empty. You can do whatever you want to it. The only thing I would advise is be mindful if it's all the same stuff. For the first couple years I was doing my habit tracker, I wasn't thinking twice about it until one day I realized it was 75 professional and 25% personal. And that's not going to help me reach my goals because my goals should be more personal than professional. Yeah. Okay, I am sending you a big hug, big kiss. The link to my resources are all here. Today's free live was brought to you by my book, The Quarterly Planner, because all it takes is a couple sales to make it worth it. So there you go, guys. I love this. I love my book. I use them religiously. And the reason why I created a book is because there wasn't the right planner out there that worked for me, where I had enough room to put all my stuff, where I could create lists. And I'm going to go over some of the other resources that are in this book on a part two. All right, guys, I'm sending you so much love, hugs, and kisses. I think I will post this on YouTube as well. Actually, probably not. Probably not. I might just reserve it for this group. We'll see. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you, Ramona. Thank you so much for participating. I always love your support. And if you catch the replay, don't forget to mark replay on here. And I'm available to answer any questions that you have.